All right, thank you. And I'm really going to mess things up because I'm going to take this off. All right, today I just want to thank you guys for having me here and allowing me the opportunity to speak with you all. Today we're going to talk about when dreams go dormant. Have any of you ever had dreams? Maybe when you were a young child, what were some of the dreams that you might have had? Somebody tell me.
I wanted to be a hot air balloon pilot.
A hot air balloon pilot. Somebody else.
I wanted to be either Barbie or that girl.
Barbie or that girl.
I wanted to join the Peace Corps.
The Peace Corps.
I wanted to grow up to be a model.
A model. So many dreams, right? I wanted to be a dolphin trainer. I didn't do it once I figured out you had to dissect dolphins. I just wanted to, blow the whistle and then dance. So today we're going to talk about dreams, and there's different types of dreams. There's the dreams that we have for ourselves. Maybe the dreams because somebody has told us we're good at something, or we notice that we have a natural skill. And then there are God dreams. There's things that God puts on our heart. And typically the easy way to tell the difference between the two is that God dreams are ones that we typically are unable to fill ourselves. We are not able to do them. They are too big for us. My being in front of you all today is a God dream. When I was in 5th grade and growing up, I was especially in elementary school. This is Miss Jensen. She was in elementary school with me. I spent a lot of time in the office with her. So I was very, very shy, and I didn't talk much. And so because of that, I think they decided I should be a patrol. And I got to be a patrol, and I got to wear the orange belt, and somehow I developed a little bit of confidence because of that orange belt. And I decided that I was going to go out for the talent show. And the day came, and up to that time, I was practicing, and I was in my room learning my strawberry shortcake song that I was going to sing. And for those of you who don't know what strawberry shortcake is, it's like a girl with red hair. I don't know, that same fun song. She smelled like strawberries. And so every day I would practice and practice and practice. And so the day came that I was going to try out for the talent show. So I went down to the stage. I don't even know if my mom knows this story. I went down, and they called me down, and I got up on the stage, and they started the music, and I held the microphone in my hand, and I said, "Stop!" And nothing more would come out. And then they were like, that had never happened to me before when I practiced in my room. I've never had that problem. And so the teachers were down there, and they looked up on me, and they're like, "Would you like to try again?" And I said, "Yes, I would like to try again. I don't know what just happened." And so again, the music started. And all of a sudden, I felt this fire consume my body. And I had this giant dry biscuit in my throat. And I dropped the microphone. I ran off the stage. And I ran all the way back to my classroom. I pulled out my chair. I got out my stuff. I sat down. Just went right back to work like nothing had happened. I'm sure nobody in that room knew. They probably thought I was amazing. But in about a few minutes, the intercom came on. "Mr. Ehrlich, is Serena McIntosh in your classroom?" Now, thinking about it later, I guess they really did lose a child. I actually run out of the building. And he was like, "Yes, she's here." I was like, "Okay, thank you." And so a few minutes later, somebody comes down, and they put their hand on my shoulders, and they're like, "Serena, are you okay?" And I said, "Absolutely, just fine." And they're like, "Do you want to come back?" And I was like, "No, I do not. I do not want to go back. Thank you, though." And this was a chronic problem in my life. Speaking in front of people was something that was very, very difficult for me. And as you go through school, you are required to stand in front of people and speak. And so a lot of times, I remember even in high school, my grades, if I had to speak, they were not great. But I realized that when I was talking about God, all of a sudden I could just talk. And it was the most amazing thing. And so that's why I say that that was a God dream for me. That was something that God gave to me. And it was not based upon my skills or my ability to do things. That was just something that He gave. There may be things that in your life God has challenged you to do. And He will make a way for your dreams. Today I want to talk about a little bit about Joshua and Caleb. In Exodus 12, we hear about the Israelites. And the Israelites were enslaved in Egypt. And they were part of this group that Moses was going to take out of Egypt. And as you can imagine, this was their God dream. Like, they were enslaved, they were being punished. And I can imagine as they started hearing, Moses, he's going to get us out. He's going to get us out. How exciting that must have been to see the fulfillment of this thing they knew that God had promised them. And so over and over, miracles happened. And then the day came, and it was time for them to leave. And so they pack up all their stuff, they're headed out. And as we know, the Egyptian army started chasing them. And they got to the sea, and Moses parted the sea. They walked through on dry land, and then it came back over the Egyptian army. And as they got to the other side, Moses says to Joshua and Caleb, I want you and I want 10 other people. I'm going to send you on to the promised land. You're going to go and you're going to look and you're going to see what God has promised us. And then I want you to come back and I want you to report to us. And so that's what happened. They went over to the promised land and they came back and they all agreed. It was amazing. It was exactly what God had promised them. But 10 of them started saying, we can't do it. There's giants over there. We can't take the promised land. And Joshua and Caleb were like, hey, did you not see the sea? Did you not know? We walked on dry land. We weren't sticking. Our carriages weren't stuck. We were going through. Did you not see the miracles that happened that got us to this place? And yet the people didn't agree. And they decided not to go into the promised land. And right then and there, Joshua and Caleb's dreams went dormant. And everybody else that was 20 years and older, their dreams died. Because God was so angry at their lack of faith that He said anyone over the age of 20 was not going to be allowed into the promised land. So there's a lot of things that we can understand from this. One is we need to understand that fear can stop us from recognizing the truth. Fear stops us from experiencing the truth. And fear can stop you from living the life that God has for you. There's two main ways I see that dreams can go dormant. One is just fear. Fear can make your dreams go dormant, and in some cases, it can make your dreams die. And secondly, the actions of others around you can also cause your dreams to go dormant. Joshua and Caleb did not do anything wrong. They were faithful. But their dreams went dormant because of the lack of faith that was around them. So a lot can happen during that waiting time. We need to wait because God decided that Joshua and Caleb were not going to be able to fulfill their dream at that time because of the lack of faith of others around them. Joshua and Caleb knew that they were in the right. They knew they had done the right things. They knew there was not sin in their life. And I think sometimes when that happens, we, in our own lives, we can begin to doubt and we can begin to have a lot of questions. But just like Joshua and Caleb, we might just need to wait. A lot can happen in the waiting time, and how we wait matters. If our dreams have gone dormant and we're not sure what's going to happen, are we complaining? Are we fussing? Are we upset? Are we angry because it's not supposed to be this way? Joshua and Caleb had the right to do that. It wasn't supposed to be that way. But God still had a purpose for their lives. And God had a plan for their lives. And they just needed to wait. Today we're at a tea. And I want you to imagine that you have a cup of water, right? We have a cup of water. And then we put a tea bag into the water. What happens to the water? It changes, right? It changes. The tea infuses into the water. And the longer I wait, the stronger the tea becomes. The same is true for Jesus in our lives. If Jesus was the tea bag and we were the water, we invite Jesus to come into our lives. And the longer that we sit with him and wait with him, the stronger we can become. If we're quick because something happened and we're quick to take that bag out, we are denying ourselves the opportunity to grow stronger. The tea infiltrates the water, and the tea changes the water. Just like Jesus, when he comes into our lives, he changes us. There is no way that I can take the tea that we have and I can separate it back out. I can't make it water again because it's already been infiltrated. Same is true for our lives. Once Jesus is in our lives and he's permeated our lives, we need to continue to allow that to sit and settle. One of the things that Ms. McDonald asked me to speak about was my son. And she mentioned to you earlier that I have 3 sons. And my oldest is my first responder, and we're very proud of him. My second one's still trying to figure out his life. And my third son, when he was 6 years old, he became very, very sick. And we did not know what was wrong with him. His stomach was paralyzed. He had gastroparesis. And he had issue after issue. He started passing out maybe 10 times a day. He was just had all kinds of issues and all kinds of treatments that we had to seek and we had to try to find. And he was in chronic pain, so much pain. And nobody could understand or fix what was wrong. And it was a very hard time for us, because when you are in a waiting period and you know you haven't done anything wrong, it's hard to understand God's purpose. And it's very challenging to walk through things like that. And as we went through, all we knew to do was just to continue to put one step in front of the other, to walk one step in front of the other, and continue to trust and to continue to grow stronger. I love the poem that was read earlier that talked about being the Proverbs 31 woman and being faithful and trusting what God has for us. I guess about 1.5 years, we ended up finding the right answer for our son, and it was amazing. He's healed. I mean, God literally somehow said, yes, it's time. Your time is over, and you're able to see your promised land. And it's truly a miracle. And I always hesitate when I speak about our experiences, because I know in a room this size, there's some of you that are still waiting. You're still waiting for your miracle. And it was always hard for me to sit and listen and be like, yeah, but when? When is my miracle coming? Because that's the hard part. But I want to encourage you to continue to be faithful in the hard times, to be faithful in the waiting, because God wants to fill you with his love. He wants to grow with you. He wants to grow you. And if you take the tea bag out, you will become less, not more. And so that's my desire for you. I want you to know that you matter. Your dreams matter. And I want to encourage you to chase the dreams that God has put in your heart. 40 years later, God came to Joshua and he said, "It's time. Let's go." And I just imagine the feelings that Joshua had at that time. I'm sure there was fear, because in Joshua 1:9, he said, do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. God was with him through it all. And sometimes we miss the miracles along the way if we're not waiting well. There were miracles that happened in those 40 years. And it's easy to miss those things if we're not waiting well. And Joshua continued to see those. And Caleb continued to see those as they went on. And that gave them the courage to move forward. And to move forward is just a matter of taking one step. We only have to take one step, and then another, and then another. So in closing, I want to encourage you not to let fear stop you. Don't let the world and what other people say stop you from experiencing the promised land that God has for you. If the Israelites would have trusted God, they would have had their promised land. They would have had what was promised to them. But because of fear, many of their dreams died, and Joshua and Caleb's went dormant. The dreams God gave you are for a reason. Just like there's many different kinds of tea, God has individual dreams for each of you. Sometimes as women, we can sit and we can look at other people and we can say, "Oh, gosh, I wish I could do that," or "Oh, she does that so well." There's chai tea, there's peppermint tea, there's all kinds. And just like us, it's the same. They're meant for different purposes. Sometimes a chamomile tea is what we need. Sometimes we want a little caffeine kick. So they're just like the tea is different. We are each different. And the dreams God gives to each of us are different. So embrace those. Embrace those. You are His, and His journey is the one we want to be on. Let's pray. Father God, I thank you so much for the opportunity to speak here today. I pray